Oh god. Okay. That was painful, but we got it going. We're finally live. And we're back. More importantly, with the Midwest F1 League. We are here. We are ready to go. This is our first race week of Tier Formula 2. This is our Formula 2 series. We've all agreed for the 2020 cars as well, so you're going to see the high tech come on in. So, yeah, Mez, yeah. I don't think he's actually racing, but there shouldn't be any bots in here. I set up the lobby, but we'll have to see. But yeah, we're back at it after our week break, or our 2-week break, week and a half break. We are in to season 2 of the Midwest F1 League, starting off with our F2 series. As you can see, we're starting here at China. China's a fun track. It offers a lot of passing opportunities. It's got a fun flowing section. We're just waiting for the drivers to ready up here, and we're going to go into a one-shot qualifying. We're going to jump right into it here. Unfortunately, we only have 17 drivers. But we do... I'm not sure if we were able to get him in here. Yeah, we do. Lord Zed, our Season 1 championship winner, up at the top already. See if he can do it again. This year he's got a different teammate as him and Narniel parted ways, as Lord Zed is now teaming with... sorry, who's he? Or is it with Cam, actually? Yeah, Cam is his teammate for this year. As we're actually on Cam right now, and Cam known to have some crazy pace in Formula 1. Can he bring that into Formula 2? Last season he didn't really, but he's looking to improve this year. Money Matt's actually setting up a really quality time so far. We'll quickly pull up our lap map here. Just finishing Sector 2. Kenny has unfortunately retired from the session. Still see Lord Zed up at the top there, and Elma Jacko and him are flip-flopping. Money Matt dropping down a bit, just past Narniel and Nikki as he just re-overtakes Nikki for what is now 5th place. ZGS also in the session. Yeah, Pork, tell me about it, man. Oh my god. Jacko is looking to come over with a pull in. Yeah, those... It does look a little weird, the F2 cars. They're massive tires. And it seems, yep, Jacko does and barely is able to hold off Lord Zed by 15 thousandths of a second, if my math is right there. Or is it 17 thousandths of a second? Yeah, 17 thousandths of a second. Jacko will take home pole in race week 1 at the Chinese Grand Prix. We're set for a 50% feature and a 50% sprint. Going down the order, we got Elma Jacko, Lord Zed in 2, rounding out the top row here. Narniel in 3, teammate of Lord Zed last year. Money Matt 4, having a really good qualifying here. Nikki 5, the best pawn 6, Kaz 7, HS VDT. I think VDT sounds pretty good. VDT coming 8th, JC 9th, OG 10th, Cam 11th, Spaceman 12th, Random 13th, Tim Lee 14th, Tier the Tier 15th, ZGS 16th, and Kenny is 17th as him and ZGS crashed out. The best pawn seeming actually going on to the mediums there, so I took a quick little look here. Why are you sad, Pork Chop? Is supposed to make for more room on the track between the drivers. But Mazepin will try and show you out the door with that room. As you saw the highlights, I'm assuming so, from the race this past week, as he got very aggressive and his elbows out and received 2 5-second penalties, which took him off the podium at Bahrain. Yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying. But I mean, Hot Wheels were sick. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Mazepin. And that recent video of him, that was like cap stupid. Like, what is he? It's just a boy, I guess. But we're gonna get right underway here in China as we have 5 red lights and they go out. Jacko seems to have got off pretty good here, as he's way down the course ahead. Money Matt going to the inside line, and he actually gets a piece of Lord Zed and spins Lord Zed sideways and then comes back at him. He gets another little chunk of him. Coming through turn 3 here, Elmo Jacko still holding on to that lead. Nicky going around the outside, going into 4th place now. Get right on board with him. We see Random Serious moving down the line as he must have spun out there. We got a little bit of chaos down there. Tim Lee seems to have maybe gone off as well. Spaceman picking up an early penalty as he goes way down the order, and yes, he did spin out. Seems like back of the pack is where it's all at, as Kenny loses a piece of his wing and he runs through some sort of debris, and we might have a virtual safety car there, and we have drivers trying to give back positions, and seems to be working out so far, but unfortunately Cam picking up a quick little penalty, and Kenny and Kaz getting into it a little bit. Oh, and now we have cars all over the place and off track, and as we're back to green after the virtual safety car here, as this has kind of started off a little bit nuts. But with all said and done, Jacko already holding on to just under 2-second lead on the best Pons here. The best Pons got a lot to do to make up that ground early on in this race. As we are about to finish lap 1 here, Jacko now increases that gap to 2 seconds, but best Pons makes that all up with a late break into that long turn after that straight stretch in sector 3 there. Up track map here. But a little bit of movement from cars pitting here. Cam and Lord Zed with a couple penalties right off the get-go. Narniel, as you can see, trying to hunt down the best Pons. I must say I'm a little ill-prepared for this evening's race, but I'm going to make do with what I got here. Kenny trying to catch Money Matt. Money Matt stops a little earlier than Kenny was expecting, and Kenny bumps the back of him there. You can see Money Matt's actually lost a little bit of his wing there. JC Blackley and Kenny are trying to do the move on Money Matt here, as the Carlin cars are coming right at Dams, and now JC's going to send it to the inside line, and Money Matt's going to give way, but he's going to try and stick around the outside, but JC goes back to the inside. Money Matt going for a nice little switch back here. He's right in his slipstream, opts to get out and go for the inside line here, but JC Blakely is able to break with Money Matt, and he's going to hold on to 9th position. Looks like there's a move up the table a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's why I couldn't see it, because they're side by side. There we go. Nicky going on the inside line. VDT actually, sorry, on the inside line there, as I'm not used to the new F2 the F2 liveries for 2020 others. This is the very first race that we've used them with the brand new update here. Nicky trying to get back HHS VDT, and now right in his slipstream punches out and goes right to the inside line now. He's going to send it around that long looping turn 1 here, which kind of offers a little bit of different driver lines here. As you can see, Nicky going to opt for the wider of lines, and then HSVDT going for the inside line, but it's going to work out for Nicky here, as he's going to hold on to 4th position after that little battle between the two. But VDT is not going to give up. As he finishes Sector 1, still in 5th place, he's going to have to stay close with them through Sector 2, as this is a winding, fun little slalom. But it looks like we got Lord Zed off at the beginning of Sector 1. Oh, hey, Monster, how's it going, man? EDT trying to stay close, Random Sirius and Lord Zed, as Sirius might have gone off again. Tim Lee looks to be falling down the order, down in Sector 2 there. Random Sirius is going to get overtaken there. And I think that's just a virtual safety car, as Tim Lee, I believe, is still off track, and he's trying to get himself straightened out here on that BWT, as there is 0 wing left on that car, or front wing, that is. Virtual safety car. A little early. Money Matt's trying to time it with JC Blackley here. These two are allowed to gain a little bit of speed here, but Money Matt's still not yet allowed to send it through the inside line. But JC Blackley completely loses his braking point now. Right off the restart, loses his position as well, and goes back down into 10th as ZGS gets an overtake as well. ZGS losing back out of that position. The tier in the pits is going to lose a spot to Lord Zed as well. ZGS looking to come back at JC here, and as I said before, they're all following the same line around that large looping turn 1 and 2 through 3, and ZGS gets a little bit too heavy on the gas, and now he's going to lose out plenty of time here. He needs to do some real driving in Sector 2 to make up that ground to get back in DRS range. You see once again JC Blackley losing his braking point there. He goes a little bit wide now. That gap between him and Money Matt is just under 3/4 of a second here. Made up some ground. He's going to try and really hold those corners as much as he can with as much pace. So he's making some ground up on Money Matt. Money Matt gets a much better run out of turn 10 there and nearly increases that gap to outside of DRS range. The DRS detection is just right after his last turn here, and JC will be able to get himself back within it. But unfortunately, ZGS is going to lose out of that DRS in that long straight, so he's going to be hurt a little bit there. Race is kind of separated a decent bit here. Random Sirius is in DRS range of Spaceman, as you can see Spaceman going a little bit wide, getting up on that curb, turn 13 there, another big long looping turn at this Chinese Grand Prix. Random Sirius got DRS, as you can see his back window is open now in the Jack Aitken car in the number 9. As you can see, I noticed that the Williams Racing Driver Academy. That's fun to see, and whoa, Random Sirius actually brakes real late and ends up getting the overtake done on Spaceman. He's going to come through. Oh, Spaceman actually re-overtakes there. He's going to get DRS once again on this pit straight here going into turn 1, but is it long enough? He's got the wing open. He's trying to make up the ground. He might just think about sending it around the outside here as he looks to take the outside line. Not close enough. Spaceman kind of goes a little bit wide around this turn here as Random Sirius opts for the sharper line. Spaceman going a little deep through all these turns here in that little cluster. I'm just going to open up the door for Random Sirius as Random Sirius gets a much better jump out of turn 4 as I get a brutal camera angle there, but you can see now Random Sirius up into 12th place after getting past Spaceman. Now Lord Zed right with ZGS, and ZGS has lost out some major time since that little slip up there a lap ago. Cam coming right at ZGS here and gets a much better run out of turn 10. He's got the inside line going into 11 here, but ZGS should be able to get the DRS into next. And ZGS forces Lord Zed to cut a little bit of the curve there. It's all about getting a good run out of this big looping turn 13 here, and it looks like Lord Zed got a much better of it. Then we see our race leader in El Majaco into the pits. Well, that's not fun to listen to. JC's still trying to run down Money Matt here. Majaco's coming out of the pits now. He's going to wind up in 7th place. And he's actually going to get right in front of JC. So JC looking to kind of make up that gap as Money Matt slowed up by Jacko coming out of the pit just ever so slightly here. Cam and VDT going right at it as Cam is holding that inside line out, turns to the outside line. He's able to make the move stick, and he's into 4th place. VDT's not going to give it up, and there you go. Cam gets too heavy on the throttle, because we were right on board with VDT to catch that. Now Cam falls about 2 seconds outside of VDT. Lord Zed now working on JC Blackley here. For a better run, and yes, he does get it out of turn 10. He's got the inside line into 11 here. JC's going to try and hold it, but he does opt out, and Lord Zed now ups into 9th place. A lot of these drivers did start on the medium compound, where Jacko started off the soft. So he's going to have to really keep that gap nice and tight to him in the best palms there. Instead of being on the soft early, he's going to want to make up a lot more time than what he did. Check the penalties quick, because Cam actually has 15 seconds worth of penalties here. I don't think we'll hear the end of that. Lord Zed actually with 10. Spaceman with 11, an odd number I guess, and Random Serious with 3. Yeah, it'd have been nice if they did it. I mean, I guess they're not really thinking about broadcasting, right? But yeah. Lord Zed trying to chase down Money Matt for 8th place, because after that spin out has been making up ground ever since. Cam now trying to work his way back in DRS range of VDT, and it seems like he has. He's going to come through the DRS detection zone, and he's well within a second, so he's going to get on that long straight. If he can get a good run out of turn 13, he might have a shot into turn 14. As I completely lose my voice for a second there, wowzers. Looks like Lord Zed was able to get Money Matt there. But who out of the two got the DRS? It was Money Matt. And since that spin, Lord Zed has been picking his way back through this field here and has got himself back within striking distance of possibly a podium. Cam has really made up the ground on VDT as he's trying to come right back at him. And he's going for the inside line of turn 3. But VDT just closed the door, and he's going to hold on to 4th position for now, but Cam is really charging at him. Cam missing his braking point a little bit, actually just kind of takes a different apex into that turn. Coming on the big swoop of turn 7 here. This is where we kind of see drivers set up a move. Cam can get a good run out of turn 10, but it looks like VDT didn't really open the door much at all. He's going to have to wait until that long straight in sector 3. It looks like he's got a really good run here, and he's already within a quarter of a second with plenty of track left to go before turn 14. He goes to the inside line. It's just going to get a nice clean overtake. VDT's actually going to hold it with him and try and send it around the outside. Kind of forces Cam actually into a bad racing line there. Oh, and Cam has gone off. He gets a little too heavy on the throttle once again. And he spins out into the wall. We might see a safety car here. No, he does pull himself back out, so he's good to go. He's going to go right into the pit, so if there's anywhere you want to spin out, it's kind of that corner, because you got the pit lane right there. So you just mainly lose time with the spin out. You don't really lose time of having to go all the way around track to get back into the garage to get a new set of tires and a wing. So it could have been worse, Cam, but it sucks, but it could have been worse. But you just saw there, Jacko actually sets fastest lap here. So he's really making a move. I imagine we're going to see the best pawns in pretty quick, as Jacko kind of stuck to that strategy of 6 laps in the softs. So I imagine we're going to see some medium compounds in real soon. Random Series also into the pits. Not sure if it's a wing change, or it is a wing change and a fresh set of tires as well. Narniel trying to work his way into DRS range of the best pawns. Just a second and a half out right now, that long stretch. You don't have that extra battery in F2, but you do, I believe, have the ability to control the fuel octane. A lot of these drivers opting to stay out a little longer, as we have quite a few penalties down the grid. Tier to tier in pits. And that pit lane is actually where Sebastian Vettel did pull an overtake, just right around behind there. Get a better view when I can. If you haven't seen that video, it's actually really cool to watch him get an overtake done at the pit straight. It's just a completely legal move. And one done by Inspector Vettel. Or Inspector Seb, sorry. Oh, who do we have off? Is that OG Northerner? Yeah, that was just OG getting the blue flag. The blue flag of death. Narniel's still trying to hunt down the best pawns. I think Narniel's just trying to copy the best pawns' strategy here. Yeah. Oh, something making it harder for Hamilton to win a race. Oh, sorry, here. Let's just fix that for you. Oh, that's a big 3-second time penalty for the best pawns there. So actually right now he sits the second back of Narniel, but Narniel's still got a push here. I imagine we're going to see one of these drivers in the pits here. If I were Narniel, I'd come in right now and just, if best pawns pits the same time as you, then so be it, but maybe try and get an undercut on him. Jacko trying to work himself within DRS of Kenny, but Kenny's holding on to some pretty solid lap times here. Just stay on with Jacko and see how far off he is from his fastest lap pace that he said earlier. And actually the best pawns is into the pit first. Narniel opts to stay out. Looking at an overcut, if you will. Nicky also in. So maybe Nicky and Narniel talked. As well as... yes, that was VDT in the pit. Kenny known to try or enjoys to make the tires last long. There you go. As I was saying about Elmer Jacko, seeing where he's off of his pace, he actually sets a new fastest lap, taking 2/10 off, or 200ths off. My apologies. JC going into the pit as well. as maybe the two have talked and decided that Kenny is to stay out one more lap and JC is to go in first. Jacko now worked himself within DRS range of Kenny here, and he's on the fresher tire as well. 6-lap difference between the two of Kenny and Jacko, so Jacko does have the advantage here. Kenny's really trying to push and takes as much of that corner as he can, doing it to the same on 9 as well, getting right up onto the dirt. Jacko is just trying to, I'd imagine, just trying to set himself up, as he's actually still quicker right now than his fastest lap, that being 14 thousandths of a second quicker. So barely a blink of an eye here, and Kenny actually gets a really good run out of turn 13. 6/10 out. Is the gap close enough for Jacko to take a lunge here? I don't think it is, as they're hitting the breaking point, and Kenny is going to hold on to P2 for now. But is it just going to be for this straight? Will Jacko be able to take him into turn 1? And Kenny says, screw that, I'm into the pits. Narniel also into the pits, and now Jacko will re-overtake for first. We'll have to see what that gap is going to sit at, as Narniel is coming out of the pits. The best Pawns is coming down the pit straight here. Is he going to get ahead of Narniel? Yes, he will. You can see Narniel there coming out of the pits, and best Pawns going through turn 1. But that difference between the two is favorable to Narniel from what it was before, as it seems that the overcut was able to save him a half a second here, but he's got some work cut out, as he's going to want to get within that second DRS range. Speaking of, VDT just barely outside, a quarter of a second outside, as he's trying to hunt down Kenny. Kenny out of the pits into 5th place. Jacko wasn't really even that superb. I guess he had some pretty good in F2. He missed the first 3 races, so that'll help. VDT trying to scrap every bit of time as he can, but it seems like Kenny's just blistering through Sector 2 here and has actually increased that gap between the two. Narniel and the best Pawns' gap still holds firm at a 1.5 seconds. Money Matt going and overtaking Kaz for 11th place, or for 10th place, sorry, as Kaz falls into 11th place. Check quickly the difference on the tires. Kaz has been on the tires for 9 laps, and Random Series on the, Money Matt on the far fresher softs. So Kaz is going to be really feeling the age of these tires about now. But if I were to take a guess at what we were going to see before this race started, I bet you I would have gotten pretty close here. Jacko finishing near the top. The one thing I would have predicted is Lord Zed down in 8th place, as he's not had, or he did not have the best of starts here. But with him being in 8th place, once we get onto the sprint race, he's going to start on pole, so which is not the worst thing in the world, but you want points in the feature races. That's where the big points are. Lord Zed now, as I speak of the devil, going fastest and overtaking Jacko for the fastest lap there. We'll check the fastest lap so you can see the difference between the two. And he actually is 8/10 quicker, so he absolutely had a banger of the fastest lap there. And maybe looking to actually get within range of his teammate to do an overtake. I mean, how many people do you think actually had practice here? It's Random Series looks like it gets an overtake done on Money Matt. And we've got a nice little cluster in here for 10th place. It looks like Random Series is sending it around the outside on Kaz. Kaz holding that inside line. Random Series going off a little bit there, and that brings Money Matt right into the equation. Random Series trying to get that inside line. Money Matt actually outbreaks Random Series quite a bit and will overtake both as he does a lovely little pass. And will make up 2 quick positions in 1 turn. As he just split that gap there. But his battle's not over yet, as Random Series actually gets a much better run than Kaz. And now he's got the inside line here. If I can get a better camera angle, no I won't. But they're going to hold each other around the turn, but Random Series is actually going to get the job done and hold on to it. Now Narniel quickly gets within nearly a half a second of the best pawns here. So if he can get an overtake done, that's going to make his second place bid a lot easier here. Nicky looks like he is only going to be able to hold on to 4th, as that gap between him and the best pawns, barring any extra penalty from the best pawns, that's going to stick. The best pawns seems to have 3rd secured here. He's just got to try and make sure he doesn't take an extra penalty here and bring Nicky into that equation. Northern overtaken by tier there, 15th place. So OG's actually on the fresher of tire and the softer of compound, so he's actually going to want to try and overtake the tier here. And Sears still very much within the range of Money Matt here, but it seems Kaz is somewhat fallen out of that party. Money Matt and Random Series are on par with penalties. Narniel's brought himself real close onto the best pawns, as these two are about to lap Tim Lee, and is Tim Lee going to get in the way all too much here? Narniel taking a pretty solid line out of the final turn into the pit straight. Best pawns as both collect as much of a draft from Tim Lee as they can. I think the best pawns actually did get DRS from Tim Lee there as well, so that will help him out. 2 laps to go here. Onto the 15th lap coming through sector 1. Giacomo has virtually secured this win. Random Series goes right at Money Matt and is able to get an overtake even before the DRS. Which looks like, yeah, he was able to actually collect it, so he took DRS and then was able to hold on and overtake Money Matt, and then we'll collect DRS all the way down that long straight. But Money Matt got into that slipstream and actually brought it right back as he very much outbreaks Random Series, makes up quite a bit of ground here. Random Series getting a little squirrely with his racing line there, and that brings Money Matt right back into it. But is that gap close enough to go into turn 1? I don't think it is. Narniel has actually fallen out of a second. Best pawn's going off a little bit there. So Narniel is pretty close, but I think he was a second out when he had DRS. Yes, he was. He was not going to get DRS, which is completely unfortunate. He's got so much of a better run out of turn 13 with the best pawns going off. And that's actually going to open up the door a little bit for him to maybe take a move into the turn. He goes for a switchback here, as he takes a real sharp switchback, but the best pawns is taking the better racing line, is able to hold on to the position. Onto the lap 16 here is Jacko's already finishing up turn 2 and 3. Narniel now thinking about a lunge, but he decides to maybe send it around the inside line, doesn't trust, or the outside line, sorry, he doesn't trust that inside line, and speaking of, he does a switchback mid-turn, as that first and second turn is so long that he was able to do a switchback in the middle of the turn. He's just got to be sure not to fall out of DRS range, as we got OG Northerner off all the way back in sector 3. Don't think we're going to see a safety car. I'm not sure where he's pulled off. If he's in a safe position, as yeah, the game will just despawn the car, so no harm done to this Grady Spaceman looking to come right at Kaz as he sends it around the outside. And Kaz with such old tires is just not able to compete as he's... Is that a puncture? I don't think, it looks like he's got a puncture, I believe so. Being on those tires for so very long, he's put them into a puncture. Yeah, that's we go. The battle for second place is still underway. Narniel surely has it locked up. But is that gap, just for the sake of it, close enough for him to go into turn 1? Jacko coming around the final turn 16 to come over the line for first place, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen there. And there we go, Jacko getting nice and close to the pit wall to celebrate the win. Is Narniel able to get a good run to cleanly overtake for an on-track second place? I don't think it is. Way too far. Maybe if the finish line was all the way down on turn 1, he'd be able to do it, but he still gets second place in the first race of the year. I believe that's Tier the Tier coming over. That's actually Tim Lee, sorry. Nicky in 4th, a solid outing from him. We'll have to see where Kenny finishes, as he right now is 5th, but it's that gap between him and HSVDT far enough for him to hold on to position, and it looks like it is. It's only a couple seconds. We're taking off the time. Lord Zed and Cam, the 2 teammates who were kind of expecting a little bit more out of here today, are going to come over to 7th and 8th. Lord Zed actually overtaking his teammate. As it all finishes here, Money Matt actually kind of brought it back close to Random Series, but just not enough race left for him to make up that ground. Check the penalties. They still sit at 3 and 3, so it's going to hold as what it is. Spaceman is within, just outside of ZGS, but with the 6 seconds worth of penalties, it's not going to make much of a difference, as ZGS is going to come over 12th and Spaceman 13th. Oh. Just throwing it back a little bit with those moves. There you go, Jacko coming home with his first win of the F2 year. The best pawns also collecting a podium, as well as Narniel. As Narniel was the one, I wouldn't say get dropped, but him and Lord Zed go the other way, as Lord Zed and Cam came to a team agreement prior to, and Lord Zed was the one on the outside looking in. But kind of you know, shows that he's worth much more than what Lord Zed maybe ranked him to be, as he comes over with the podium here in second position, best pawns in third. We're going to get right into our sprint race, as I'm not sure if Monkey Mafia gives them any time in between, but I don't think there is actually any time, so oh no, there's not. Yeah, we'll get right into it. Okay, good. Oh, thanks to Best Pawns. I thought you could, my mistake. So into the sprint we go, here in China, Shanghai to be exact. Actually, to be even more exact, the Shanghai International Circuit, as we are going to get right into it, 12 laps. Lord Zed and Cam, the teammates, starting 1-2. Lord Zed seems to get the better of run. Cam sending it right around the outside. Kenny actually sending it even more around the outside, but HSVDT has the inside line for that turn there, and it's going to turn to the outside line, and Cam's going to hold on to second place. Lord Zed in first. Going down the line here, Jacko seems to have already made up a position on Narniel. There's right now some fairly clean stuff as the best pawns and Jacko get into it ever so slightly there. Not too much though. Kenny's still holding on to fourth place. VDT right in third and in Kenny's sight here. And Kenny actually loses a little bit of pace, and the best pawns has opened up the door a little bit. Lord Zed's growing that gap already. I think JC Blackley was able to overtake Money Matt there. Narniel is right close to Jacko and is trying to think about an overtake, but Jacko doesn't open up the door. As the best pawns goes off a little bit onto the grass, and that brings Jacko right into the party. Narniel taking a nice wide swooping line. He's going to get a real good run out. He's into the slipstream of Jacko here. We do have a yellow flag as it is Random Series and OG Northerner off there. Jacko goes to defend the inside line. Breaks very late. And the best pawns actually goes back into fifth place. After all of that, battle for fifth is still underway through this whole third sector here. Now going into the first sector of lap 2. Narniel breaks a little early, and Jacko and the best pawns collide a little bit. And Narniel actually going to the inside line now. It does an overtake on Jacko, but Jacko has the inside line, so he re-overtakes for fifth place. Oh, and Jacko and the best pawns get right into it there. Jacko bumps him a little bit. Narniel trying to find a spot to overtake these drivers, but Jacko and the best pawns are forever battling, it seems, for fifth place. Narniel nearly gets in the back of the best pawns there as Jacko seemingly opened the door into turn 9 there, but closes soon after to the best pawns. Now that gap is nearly a second now. So Jacko's trying to open up the gap. Some clean driving between these three drivers here. The best pawns does lose a little bit of traction. Money Matt gets an overtake down the inside line of JC Blackley here. Narniel getting right up on best pawns' back here. They come down this long straight stretch into 14. Right now, Narniel has the inside line, doesn't open it up for a switchback here. Best pawns comes right back at him and takes back over sixth place. Cuts the corner a little bit as we have a VSC, and that is good for the best pawns, as Narniel had a much better run out of the final turn and would have surely had an easy overtake onto the best pawns for sixth place here. We have a couple cars into the pit, that being JC and Money Matt, as all the cars on track are up and running here, so I imagine this VSC is going to end real quick here. There it goes. Yeah, only season 2 VSCs right now. No full VSCs or no full safety cars. Best Pawns has brought it right back at Jacko here, and Jacko unfortunately sitting outside of DRS. Best Pawns will get DRS going into this long stretch here. Jacko will not, so we're going to have to see if he's going to be able to make a move stick into turn 14 here. It's all about how good of a run he can get out of 13. Jacko seems to get off really good there. not enough track for the best pawns to take a lunge. This is Jacko. Now Jacko's actually going to get himself within DRS range of VDT there. Cam has brought himself actually within DRS of Lord Zed. So Lord Zed trying to open up that gap quick, and Cam has been the one pushing these last couple of laps here. But don't count out Kenny yet here, as Kenny's trying to get back into this fight for first place. And if a battle between the two teammates of Lord Zed and Cam commences, then it should open up the door for Kenny to get right back in to that fight. As actually Kenny's closer to Cam than Cam is to Lord Zed, and goes purple through Sector 1 as well. Look at the positions moved here, and Nikki losing out 3 positions off the start to this sprint race. VDT only 1 and Cam only 1, losing out to his teammate Lord Zed here, but that surely will change at the end of this race here. Jacko's actually outside of second here. Will he get DRS? And he gets really loose out of turn 12 there. Makes it back up, finishing off that turn. Just a half a second separates him and the best pawns. The best pawns get DRS. Jacko doesn't. Best pawns trying to reach for that slipstream. Gets into it a little bit too late. Not enough room between him and Jacko for him to take a lunge, but he brings it back real close. We have Kenny. Kenny is over push and now has dropped down the order. Gets overtaken by Narniel as well. As he's going to have to manage those tires pretty good. As after that spin out, they're going to be pretty hot there. As he's looking to come right back at Narniel and make up one of those positions lost. As unfortunately he's out of podium right now and gets an overtake done on Narniel, but Narniel not giving in as Narniel comes back at the inside line. Kenny is holding it around the outside, which of course turns into the inside here for this tight turn 3. Holding on, Narniel thinking about a switchback, but it wasn't really opening, and just opts to slot in behind Kenny in that Red Bull Junior car. Ooh, Kenny once again getting a little bit too heavy on the throttle, but as he does it, so does Narniel, and the door that was open for Narniel is seemingly shut as he copies the car ahead. Cam is now right up on Lord Zed here, but actually loses a decent bit of time. If he's not careful, he's going to actually fall out of DRS range here as well, but it looks like he's done enough to get himself back within, but not close enough to be able to take a lunge into turn 14 there, as Lord Zed actually gets a really good run out of 13. And that gap between the two has grown ever so slightly here. The best pawns now wanting to take a lunge at Jacko here. Does Jacko get DRS? No, he does not. The best pawns does. In his slipstream here, he's going to be able to get right alongside him going into turn 14. He breaks Jacko, sends it a little bit too deep. Get on with Jacko quick, and Jacko does do the switchback and hold on to the 4th position. The longer these two fight, the better it is for VDT here, but Jacko's got back within DRS range here as well. Down that straight into turn 1 here, VDT just opts for a clean racing line, not feeling enough pressure to have to go to defend anywhere here. The best pawns shooting the inside line here. Him and Jacko touch a little bit, and now best pawns switches positions and goes to the inside line, pushing Jacko out wide, but Jacko holds on to the better traction and gets the better speed out of that turn. And then the best pawn sends it to the inside and just completely loses his braking line and unfortunately hits both as he re-enters just in 8th place there. His battle for podium is seemingly gone here. Jacko and VDT now fighting for the final podium position there. You can see Cam falling just outside of that DRS as he has really lost some time. Now Narniel and Kenny have slowly worked their way back into the fight, and the battle for 4th place between the best pawns, and Jacko seemingly took forever. LPP? What do you mean by that, Ford? Pardon my ignorance. Ooh, Jacko looking to go at VDT. VDT's still holding on to 3rd place. He's having to go way wide, and will collect a penalty for doing so. And Jacko now into 3rd place, looking to do a double podium here. I don't know. I think he looks like he just really missed his braking point. But we'll go into it. No need to talk about it right now. But here you go, Nikki in 7th place, picking up a penalty there. Narniel in DRS and Kenny as Kenny re-overtook him after Kenny spun out several laps ago. Kenny taking as much of that turn as he could possibly get, even getting on the dirt there. You can see Narniel and Nicky opting for different lines there, but oh, Narniel loses out and is now down into 7th. Nicky getting an overtake done. Now the best pawns is getting right on Narniel's caser there as he's looking to get an overtake done, and yes he will. Narniel now down into 8th position, 1 down of where he started this race. And just VDT looking to come into turn 1 here. Is that gap close enough? It sits around 6/10. He's going to make up some ground, but not nearly enough. That straight isn't long enough for VDT to come back at him. He's got some laps to go, but with that 3-second time penalty, it's really hurting him. Narniel actually gets overtakes the best pawns for 7th here. Makes the move stick, but is he going to be able to hold on to it into turn 1 as now the tables are going to be turned? The best pawns will get DRS, but unfortunately it does not take a clean racing line. It doesn't time and well enough, and now Kenny coming right at VDT, and he's got the inside line. Is VDT going to be able to hold on? It looks like he will, but unfortunately it's forced into a bad racing line, but he comes right back, and with that inside line he's got a lot of less ground to make up on Kenny. And now Kenny's going into that inside line onto turn 6. We come into a slight pin here. Kenny's got 4th place and will actually take a penalty as well. So that's going to make it a lot easier on Jacko to hold on. Cam has pushed himself back within a half a second, so now the lead of Lord Zed is in jeopardy here. Oh, and Cam once again gets a little bit too heavy on the throttle and loses out all of his time that he's made up. Will he get in DRS? I think he was just able to get it. He might have, it all depends on where he was when he came through the detection. It was close, but was it enough? No, it doesn't look like it will. Unfortunately, he just mistimed the DRS section. Best pawns trying to make up the ground back on Narniel for 7th place here is unfortunately after that spin out or that mistimed turn, he's found himself all the way down the order once again. VDT looking to come back at Kenny here. And unfortunately the straight isn't long enough, but he's going to make up ground. Can he make up time on these first couple turns here? He's now just within a half a second, but unfortunately he's going to lose all of it out. He gets a little too heavy on the throttle. Now Kenny's able to open up that gap ever so slightly here. The big question is can Cam get that gap back down? And also, who the heck is off in Sector 3 tree there. Is that tree the tier? It looks like it is. Cam closes the gap a decent bit. Kenny's looking for an overtake on Jacko. He's going to have to get it done real quick and then open up that gap back up between the two. Random Series picking up the time penalty, as you can see there. Narniel also, so unfortunately Narniel would have made up quite a few positions in the end there, but with that penalty it's going to hurt him. Now the best Pond's looking up to make a position at the end of the race here. As Cam's in the Mazepin car as well. Ooh. Kenny and Jacko. Kenny looks to really have lunged it into turn 14 there, but it has opened him for a really bad racing line. Cam going out quickest, which is very impressive being on 10 lap old medium tires here, so it just goes to show you what kind of lap he was able to put up there. Looks like we got either ZGS or Random Series there. I believe that's ZGS off in sector 2 there, as he's picked himself back up. Continues on his way in 12th place. Cam really fighting to get within a chance to overtake there. As Kenny once again right tight on the back of Jacko, but unfortunately spins out, just unable to get that timing. Tim Lee picking up a penalty, but I think he was just opening up room to let the drivers through for the blue flag. Tim Lee picking up quite a few penalties there, but I think that's all just for him to try and get out of the way, and surely those will be given back after the race. Unrightfully so, he gets another, so he's nearly got a minute worth of penalties there. Can Cam come at his teammate of Lord Zed here? As you're going to most likely see the teammates on the podium together, but Cam doesn't look to be able to get a good enough run out of turn 13 there. Full laps to go here, so still plenty of opportunities for Cam to get it done, but he's just got to get the timing out of one of those turns and just also hold on to that traction, and he just hasn't been able to do it here. And even so, when he's gotten close, he sometimes get a little too heavy on the throttle and then spins himself out here. He's brought himself real close here. Cap's picking up the penalty. Is there enough race here for Cam to get it done? The answer is yes, but can he get it done? He's got a lap and a half to go here. He's got a total of 4 DRS zones to go. It's all about getting that one turn right. He's got to stay within DRS zone, DRS range, and then he's got to find the ability to grab hold of that traction that his car is going to give him and just outpace Lord Zed into one of the 2 turns that really offers him the overtake ability. As he's kind of been around this track quite a few times now on the back of Cam, and just getting on Lord Zed, he doesn't open up the door all too much. It's mainly on Cam to open it himself. It doesn't look like that gap between the two is close enough here, as 7/10 is far too much, but what it's going to do is going to bring him nice and close and maybe open up a gap for him to go into turn 1 here. So you can see he's now within a half a second here. He gets right tight on the back of Lord Zed. Lord Zed getting a little bit of that corner and actually gets the better traction out of turn 14, and now that's actually going to draw Cam out of DRS. Kenny and Jacko going right back at it there, and I think Kenny getting a little over too zealous there. Unfortunately spins, not completely out, but spins himself into 5th place there, and he's going to have to deal with Nicky and Nargi now. on to the last lap here. Cam's got his hands tied as he's just been looking at the back of his teammate Lord Zed for as long as this race has been. And as long as it's been, Cam has just not been able to find the ability to overtake Lord Zed. Yeah, sorry. I was just kind of tuning that out, but I wasn't thinking about everyone else. I'll just go off of broadcast review, I guess. But now Cam has got DRS, but can he get that run out of this turn here? Looks like he's got a really good run here, actually. Now he's within 6/10. This is where he can make a move. He's going to get right into the slipstream. He's actually gained himself nearly within a half a second even before he got into DRS. He's trying to hold that slipstream, but it just wasn't close enough. And once again, Lord Zed opens up that gap too much just after turn 14 through 16. And Lord Zed, oh my goodness gracious, what did we just see? Lord Zed spinning out just after turn 16, and Cam comes home with the win. Lord Zed's going to try and go backwards over the finish line as Jacko comes over for second, and Lord Zed just barely holds on to third. As, oh my goodness gracious. Wow. What just happened? How? Wow. As it all seemed to have been lined up for a 1-2 finish for High Tech, it turns into a 1-3 as Lord Zed loses it. Loses it as he can see the finish line. It's just, he had plenty of gap between him and Lord Zed, or him and Cam as well, but just gets too heavy on the throttle and puts himself into the wall. And seeing how he was completely flipped the other way from the finish line, opts to go backwards over the finish to come over the line in third place as Jacko is in a sandwich between two High Techs. As it seems, the way it finishes here is we got High Tech Prima, High Tech Prima, which HSVDT comes over the line in fourth as it finishes, but that was completely unexpected. Jacko getting driver of the day, starting 8th and coming over the line in second, was looking at a third, does end up doing the double podium, so massive amounts of points for him. As it looks like the early championship battle is going to be between Prima and High Tech here. And are those couple of points going to come back and bite High Tech in the end? Probably not, but if it does, you're going to look all the way back on race week 1 and turn 16 at China. That was completely unexpected, and honestly, it was exciting. Let's just leave it at that. But we go through quickly. We'll check the sprint race finish here. As Cam coming over 1, Jacko 2, Lord Zed 3, HSVDT 15, 4, Kenny 5th, Narniel 6, Nikki 7th, Vespons 8th, Kaz 9th, Random Series 10th, Spaceman 11th, ZGS 12th, Moneymat 13th, Shear the Tier 14th, JC Blackley 15th, Tim Lee 16th, a DNF from OG Northerner. And quickly going into the feature race, we'll see Narniel up on the, or Jacko up on first, Narniel second, Vespons third, Nikki fourth, Kenny fifth, HSVDT 15th, 6th, Lord Zed 7th, Cam 8th, JC Blackley 9th, Random Series rounding out the top 10, Money Matt 11th, ZGS 12th, Spaceman 13th, Kaz 14th, here at the tier 15th with his Canadian counterpart Tim Lee 16th, and OG Northerner also once again getting a DNF in the sprint and the feature race as well. But that is race week 1 for the Midwest F1 League F2 Series, Wednesday night series, as we are back. We are back in it. Thursday night, Div 1 night, and also Div 2 night as well. We will have to let you know where the Div 2 stream is going to be happening, as unfortunately we are kind of running into a little bit of technical difficulties barring that, so we will be sure to let you know through our Twitter and Instagram page where to find that stream. But you can for sure find the stream at this same location tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern, 1:30 I think it is in Australia, and 100% we are back at it. Midwest F1 League Season 2. More excitement, more crashes, more passes, more... Oh, I had something else that rhymed with that, but there's no point of me saying it, unfortunately. But be sure to check out our YouTube channel here, as we are going to have a crashes, top crashes video. So hopefully we can get that up soon, as we would very much like for you to view that, as it is going to be some very exciting stuff. It's going to be some funny stuff, it's going to be some exhilarating stuff, and it's going to be a little bit look back of what was Season 1 Tier 1 racing. But that is it for me. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. I was just going to, yeah, no, sorry, Pork. Noganator and I kind of got distracted throughout the week, so we'll have to get that done pretty quick here, as we did promise it, and it is going to be awesome. So yes, be sure to go check that out. Be sure to check out our Twitter page, our Instagram page. Be sure to also use the Midwest F1 League for Rogue Energy whenever you are ordering Rogue Energy. Support us and support your local content creators, as such as us, when you order your Rogue Energy product. We've actually had a couple guys order, and they say that they very much love it, so I'm going to give it a go as well, and I will be sure to let you guys know what I think of it too. But I'm sure I'll be having some very good thoughts about it, as we've received some really good thoughts about it from our other drivers in the league. But like I said, be sure to check us out tomorrow. Be sure to check us out Friday, as we are back for a multiplayer league as well, which is being ran by Stat, and all these cars will be different and multiplayer cars. So it is going to be some fun stuff. We have plenty of stuff for you at the Midwest F1 League. Some entertainment throughout your late week, going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, always starting at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. And that is about it for me. I have been Crash McQueen. This has been the Midwest F1 League, and we'll be seeing you all tomorrow night.